Kailangan ko ng dahilan. Kailangan ko ng pangahawakan. Hindi pa huli ang lahat. I deserve an explanation. I deserve an acceptable reason. Every day, I wish I did. Now tell me! Sana noon ko pa nalaman na madali lang pala magbukas ng video kabahin savings account.
Opo, sir. Tama naman po kayo. Madali lang po magbukas. Ang kailangan nyo lamang po valid ID at 100 pesos initial deposit. Yun lang po.
Yun lang ba yung requirements? Ready na ako.
Wow! Sir, pa-fill up na lang po ng form at picture pa to complete. Sir, parang may kamukha kayo artista.
Talaga? Dali lang pala magbukas ng video kabahin savings account.
Sir, you deserve this.
Yes. I deserve this. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Business World one-on-one online interview series, which will give us insights from global experts and Philippine industry leaders that will help us navigate through the economic and business challenges of this pandemic. We are coming out with this series as part of Business World's 33rd anniversary multimedia report on the theme, The Road to Recovery. I am Willie Reyes, Editor-in-Chief of Business World. Joining us today is the Executive Chairperson of the Insular Life Assurance Company, Nina Aguas, who was counted among the 25 Asia Power businesswomen by Forbes Asia in 2019, the only Filipina who made it to that list. Welcome to this series, Nina.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you for having me. As we would say in Insular Life, magandang araw, Willie, even though it's raining outside.
Your company has been operating for more than a century. In your 2019 report, you noted that great businesses have, I quote, survived world wars, political crises, economic recessions, natural disasters, and even pandemics. Can you give us a brief summary of how your company has fared so far amid this crisis?
First, 2019 results. We were very confident getting into year 2020. It's like having a 2020 vision. We ranked 3 in total assets, 3 in net worth, and number 5 in net income. No, so that gave us the confidence to really get into the year strong. And then, of course, as we all know it, Taal volcano erupted, and then COVID was declared a pandemic, and the world as we knew it was never the same. Nonetheless, as an insurance company that has survived many years, endured many years and many challenges, as you say, including World War II, we still had that confidence in ourselves that we will be able to live and thrive during this pandemic.
Well, just a note about last year. I noticed that while net income grew, premium earned was actually lower year on year. Can you tell us why?
Yes, it was slightly flat, if I may call it that. And as you know, there are many foreign players in the country, and more aggressive foreign players came in. But despite that, we retained our position in number 5 in all the other metrics that happened or that mattered to us. Because more than just the top line, particularly in the insurance industry, what we were very careful about was that we had a very strong net income, very strong in net worth and in total assets, because it signals to everyone that we're here and we're able to pay claims as they come going forward. That said, I'd really like to say to our countrymen at this point in time, bye Filipino guys, we are at par with any other foreign player. In fact, if you look at it, for the last 3 years, we've been awarded by international awarding bodies as the best domestic insurance company. So that alone puts us head to head with all the other foreign players in the country. So bye Filipino guys, Insular is Pinoy. We're here for the nation.
Yes, it's a good idea mid this time. But if I may, so far for this year, can you give us some performance metrics? Whatever is the
I
rate.
think it's too early to say, really, because 2020 is lost. And it's not just for us, Insular Life, but for all the other businesses, whether you're in manufacturing or you're in other areas, because it's just unprecedented what's happened to us. And everything will be guesswork if I say a number out there right now. That said, though, if this is any metric at all, we're keeping our staff. They're being paid full salaries, full benefits. We've been able to give assistance to our agency force. And, it's not even a loan. They were given assistance. to support them during the period of lockdown, where businesses practically stopped. And it's global though, and there's nothing we can do about it much, but we're there, we're here because of our digital capability.
That's right. But what are the business segments of in life that have been most affected or challenged amid the current crisis?
What we saw very clearly, because insurance is a push, is a sold business, our agency force could not get out there because they themselves were locked down as we were. And therefore, they had a limited access to their potential customers and policyholders. But even then, we had to be mindful of the sentiments of our customers, no? Because they themselves are personally affected, their own personal and financial circumstances. But the bright spot was really on the healthcare business. We have 100% owned subsidiary, Insular Healthcare. We saw a phenomenal rise in terms of the take-up, particularly of our prepaid and affordable healthcare services. So I think the winners in this pandemic would be those in the healthcare business, pharmaceuticals, for example, as they try to discover a vaccine for it, and telcos, no, because they have to wire everybody and make sure we remain connected despite the lockdowns.
Well, as a leader of a huge organization, can you tell us what was your first course of action, your marching orders as the pandemic struck?
Well, to me, all lives matter. Everyone's well-being came first. Because from my viewpoint, COVID created three tragic events: a public health crisis, an economic, financial crisis, and third, of course, is humanitarian. So keeping the people safe was top of mind. So at the onset of the outbreak, we made sure that we had temperature checks, for example, as we were still allowed to go in at the beginning of the problems with public health. And we deep cleaned all our offices in our buildings, restricted access, and as well as giving travel advisories. We were very careful. We suspended all travel. We made sure that everyone was safe and any face-to-face, no? And so we canceled business travel across the board within Insular Life as well as our agency force. We monetized their travel awards, for example, in favor of doing something virtual, celebrating virtual. It's interesting. We were supposed to have a very grand event for all the performers of our agency force, and I had to cancel it the day before. Can you just imagine? Everything is all set. They were all dressed up to go to the ball, but we had to cancel it for safety reasons. And that was heartbreaking, no, for us and for them, as well as for the hotel that prepared for a magnificent event for everyone. But such is the situation, and we said that more than this grand celebration, we have to look out for one another because their safety and their lives came first.
Yeah. You've led other major organizations or businesses before this. How does this crisis compare to past challenges in your career?
This one is unprecedented, as I say, because lives are directly on the line, caused by COVID or potential loss of livelihood, food, or shelter. It's hard. It's very challenging and it's hard. Because although the consequences are quite similar, there are significant differences between the economic recession of 2008, for example, where I was still based in New York, 2006 and 7, but it broke up in 2008. And that one, I think, is more systemic. The origins are different, though. I say this is US made, the crisis of 2008, because there was unsustainable debt carried by households as well as institutions and governments, so that when it fell apart, it had like a global implication as well. But then it wasn't as abrupt as what happened to us this 2020 when COVID was declared a pandemic. Then it was unsustainable debt. But this one was a health crisis first, and then it became a financial crisis, and then, of course, a huge humanitarian crisis, given all the effect that pandemic presented to us. I say there are many layers, and the complexity of the problem as well as the solutions will have to be carefully measured and carefully studied, because it's a choice, as far as I'm concerned, between life and life. So the experience, though, as a leader is priceless. And I'm grateful for the great story we're living and precious memories we are being given. And it also like brought out the resilience and the, I guess, the experience among leaders, no? Because it's now coming to bear. And you say, is it this? Which avenue should I take? It's not an easy question, but really it's priceless. And I'm grateful for the team that I have in Insular Life, because it also magnified their own resilience, their own devotion and loyalty to the company, and their perseverance. They were very enduring.
Well, everyone is now looking at the crystal ball, trying to foresee what the so-called new normal could be for business. For insurers, there will likely be a surge in claims as well as less face-to-face interaction between insurers and their clients. What will the environment be like for in-life this year and next? And what will be the key challenges and how will you address them?
Yeah. Thank you, Willie, for that question, because it's very, very relevant and right in front of every business leader, I think, not just the insurance. And I must say, while we were very prepared for some degree of disruption, I must admit, like everyone else globally, we did not foresee the complexity or the severity and the many layers of the pandemic. The overall economic compression resulting from lockdowns limited the ability of our agency force as well as our bank assurance relationship managers to underwrite business despite our digital capability, because we're among, although we're local, although we're a Filipino company, we are at the forefront of digitalization. I think we have advanced technologies, far advanced technologies than, I shall not say who. Equally, as I said, we invested very early on our digital capabilities, and thank God for that. Given the varying levels of quarantine, we had only about 20% of our people coming in, and in split teams even. And I think this will continue, at least like for in-lifers, for our employees, this will continue until the end of the year. And we're not in a rush to reopen, primarily because of the uncertainty of the pandemic. But a rainbow in the horizon, it's in life healthcare. The heightened awareness about the importance of healthcare coverage resulted in increased demand for our affordable prepaid emergency care. It's very affordable. It starts from 700 and to 1,500. It's available in our e-stores. So we saw a rise there, no? And they're being serviced also digitally nationwide. So we're very proud of that. And despite the exclusion of epidemics in our healthcare contracts or agreements, we decided to cover COVID for claims until the end of the year. We set aside funds just to be able to do that.
So just to make it clear, what you're saying is that consumer appetite for your products did not take a hit, even as households and businesses tightened spending priorities. I mean,
Yep, I think like they were more particular about having something to rely on in case they get the infection, or in case any member of their family are affected. So if they have to save for something, say they're not spending as much for their Starbucks, or not spending as much for their movies, or spending as much for their going out. That they have like set aside and bought prepaid insurance. Interestingly, you're saying that you're asking whether we've seen a rise in claims.
Yeah.
We did not. We did not. In fact, if anything, there were more queries to make sure that they make their payments for their life policies, and they were very particular about keeping them in force and not to lapse them. That was a very interesting development for us, no? And we did not see a rise in claims.
Well, as an organization, what has changed in the way you do things? What will change, and what things or practices will stay?
Many things will change. In fact, we have to accelerate even more our modernization of our technology platform, as well as our digitalization. We've done, and we are on a journey since about 3-4 years ago, in a rather aggressive way. But I think we need to even intensify the way we do things, and that will require us to revisit our business models and see how we can streamline operations even more with the help of digital. We also need to train and skill up our people for their adoption into digital. No, as I said earlier, we may be working from home for the rest of the year, and we have to make sure that they are enabled and capable to do what they have to do from home, because really we cannot overemphasize the importance of their safety, and that lives are precious, and therefore we need to do what we have to do in order to be able to continue operating during these very uncertain times. And it's allowing us to be creative, and allowing us to be more responsive and actively engaged. You think that in lockdown, I always said that life is a team sport, but this way of playing magnifies for us. The more we need to get connected, the more we have to raise our game, and the more we have to have a common purpose and a common journey to be able to make sure that Insular Life stays for another 100 years.
Well, let's now go to an advocacy of yours. Your company has zeroed in on Filipinas as a key market. Back in January, before the virus reached our shores, you said that the potential for the country's insurance market for women can be projected to reach something like 217 billion pesos this year. Can you describe the impact of the current crisis on this particular market, and what does InLife plan to do about that?
The issue is severe, particularly for women, and we cannot underestimate the impact of the pandemic on the women's segment. And I think all bets are off now. And even for the number that was put out there with the study of the International Finance Corp that partnered with us and continue to partner with us. 2 weeks ago, we had our first World Bank meeting. Being a member of the Gender and Development Council of the World Bank, I represented the voices in our country for that particular meeting. And we recognized that, in fact, we need to recalibrate, because it's all back to zero now. A big part of the women population have been impacted. One, they are in the front line, most of them. Nurses, attendants, doctors, medical technologists. Yes, there are men there, but they are equally women. So then we looked at the men are impacted more I guess there are more victims and there are more casualties among the men, and the women are left really to look out for the family, including the financial part of it. And then you say the education. While we were banking on getting the women educated, the pandemic also makes it challenging for women to continue going to school for many reasons, and primarily driven by the public health issue. But more than that, when there is a choice among families, and this is a discovery, uh, between sending a boy to school or a girl to school, in some of the countries, not necessarily the Philippines, it's always like the boy that's chosen first to go to school. So I'm saying really that a lot of it will be guesswork. And as you said, looking at a crystal ball possibly, but until a study is possible, another study is possible, the numbers will change. I think they will change. And it's unrealistic for me to give out a number or to say that we can carry through what was the earlier study done. Um, it's just not possible. And everybody will have to uh, wait until, well, we talk about a new normal or new realities, but I think it's an ever normal. It will take years because before this reset will happen.
Right. Well, as a final insight, as an industry leader, what lessons does the current crisis have for those leading organizations through current difficulties? I mean, how does a business prepare for the unexpected? I think that's the best lesson we can have so far.
Yeah. As I said earlier, we had a very robust business continuing to plan, but the pandemic presented new challenges and fresh challenges for everyone. What I can say is first, really look out for the people within your organization because they will carry you through the very difficult times. Second, to me, is really the humanitarian part of it, so that we were very aggressive in the beginning to focus more on the humanitarian, given that several within the communities were impacted by because of their loss of jobs, because of the lockdowns, because of the inability to continue working. And given that, we in fact we said what is our priority today? Again, it is about life, so that we helped out our communities. We provided PPEs for the frontliners, together with our employees, with our agents, even our members, our policyholders, including families and friends. So we were able to deploy that part of us that was very critical. As we said, we're always one with the nation. And being 110 years really gives us a special responsibility, I think, and a special accountability for the country, especially at this time when the need is far greater than anyone giver to fill. We feel that obligation to be able to do our part. So first is the safety of our people. Second is the humanitarian, because if our communities and our country is in pain, then you can't do business. But on the business side, I must say that you must look after your business and your balance sheet, your net worth. It has to be resilient. It has to be strong. And in that sense, we've always been very conservative in insular life. And we're so very well prepared for a pandemic such as this, as well as whatever the ravages to our economy, no? And we think that on the financial side, you must look out for your position as a company, no? And I have that obligation to maintain the health of my people as well as the health of my company. And with God's grace, we'll be able to do it.
Well said. Thank you, Nina, for the insights you shared with us today.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you. And magandang araw uli.
And that's it for this segment of the Business World One-on-One online interviews. Join us again tomorrow at 11 a.m. for more insights from experts and industry leaders. Thank you for watching this interview.
Thank you, Willie.
Kailangan ko ng dahilan. Kailangan ko ng pangahawakan. Hindi pa huli ang lahat. I deserve an explanation. I deserve an acceptable reason. Every day, I wish I did. Now tell me! Sana noon ko pa nalaman na madali lang pala magbukas ng video kabahin savings account.
Opo, sir. Tama naman po kayo. Madali lang po magbukas. Ang kailangan nyo lamang po valid ID at 100 pesos initial deposit. Yun lang po.
Yun lang ba yung requirements? Ready na ako.
Wow! Sir, pa-fill up na lang po ng form at picture pa to complete. Sir, parang may kamukha kayo artista.
Talaga? Dali lang pala magbukas ng video kabahin savings account.
Sir, you deserve this.
Yes. I deserve this.